Welcome to another live. I'm in my car. It's hot as hell today, but I thought about where to do this live and I decided, hey, while I'm thinking about it, why not start it in my car? So that's why I'm doing this live today in my car. And I made just a couple notes here so I make sure I don't miss anything that I'm trying to say today. And I wanted to start today with environment. How crucial it is that you are in the right environment, that you are in the right situation, that you are in the right environment. The community, the kind of identity you're looking to foster, the kind of change you're looking to make is better made when you are in the community of people trying to make the same change. For example, that's why we have things like AA meeting. We have things like church. We have things like a school. We have things like a dance recital or something, because within a community of a common purpose, it's easier to be motivated. It's easier to get things done. It's easier to make progress when there are people like you trying to make the same kind of progress you're trying to make. That's why in the Bible it said one person can conquer 1,000, but with two people you can conquer 10,000. So it increases the power of two to the high level, not to the power of just two people, 2,000. No, two people is 10,000. So that gives you an idea that a combination of people searching for a common purpose is much more powerful than by yourself. By yourself, you're vulnerable. By yourself, you can accomplish very little. But if you say, you, come together, let's do something together, that is so powerful, it's so magnificent. Now, it's tricky to get right, but it's powerful when it works. And it also not just powerful in the sense that trying to accomplish a goal, it's also powerful when you're trying to create a habit or stop a habit. Like I mentioned earlier about the AA meeting, right? Helping alcoholics foster a new way to fulfill that need of trying to escape, trying to find a solution. It doesn't change the need. It just find a different vehicle to fulfill the same need. And that's better fostered when you are in a community. It's better fostered when you are trying to do it with other people and not by yourself. That's why having gym buddies are good. If you're trying to build a habit of going to the gym, it's good to have someone. Now, I go to the gym by myself, but because I'm on a different mindset from a lot of people that I know. Going to the gym with someone might even make me want to go to the gym more often than I actually do. But I don't feel that need to have someone with me to go to the gym. I've already built my habit to the level that I can get myself to go to the gym 2 days tops. 2 days cannot go by, or 3 days cannot go by without me going to the gym. And then I have to go to the gym again. Because I have a new identity of myself. I see myself as an athlete. Which brings me to my next point. There's a reason when people trying to make a change, they go hard and then they stop. That's because they're trying to make an outcome-based change, not an identity-based change. An identity-based change is a change where you change your belief system and your values, whilst simultaneously trying to change the outcome. So if you're trying to lose weight, instead of saying, I am trying to lose 20 pounds, a better goal would be, I am trying to be a healthy person. I am trying to be an athletic performance person. And then you will start to ask yourself, what does an athlete think like? What does a healthy person think like? Now you're beginning to change your value system. And if something is preventing you from thinking that way, don't be furious. Don't be depressed about it. Ask yourself, why? Why can't I accomplish this goal? Why can't I think like this? And then find answers through that why. But of course, if you're struggling to find answers, that's where a good coach can come in handy. But you can always find answers if you can look. There are books, there are cassette tapes, there are YouTube videos, there are internet searches. These are resources you could explore to find answers as to why you cannot change a specific belief or value and how you can make that change. Because many people lose the same weight 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. How about people who are trying to save more money, but they end up blowing up their paycheck on every payday? It's because you have a pattern, you have a specific way of thinking that says, I'm a broke person. So you having money doesn't match your identity. So you spend all you have to ensure that you have that identity that you see of yourself. This stuff sometimes seems like it's a woo-woo magic kind of things, but I've found that it works. And most of my thinking and behavioral patterns and the things that I do are based off of how I see myself and the things that I think I can accomplish. And if I want to move any higher up, I have to see myself in that sense and then act like that, dress like that, show up like that. And I think a lot of people are missing this identity-based change, which is the master key to the puzzle that they're trying to solve about themselves and their lives. I'm going to turn up the car here because it's getting hot again. So that's the main goal. Identity is the main goal. You're not trying to get something. You're trying to become something. Because once you lose that weight, you lose it, then what? What happens? You've attained the goal you're trying to get. Now is what else? What else is there? So that's the main key when it comes to changing yourself. Is to change how you think, change how you behave before you can then change the outcome you're trying to attain. And also, part of what I'm trying to discuss today is the theme of existentialism, right? I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The crisis that comes from noticing that your life has no meaning, it has no purpose, right? And then I have experienced this, and part of why I do what I do is because I have this vision of myself that I gotta become something great. I have to do something to justify what I have been given. Because I have been given a lot, right? Coming to America wasn't my doing. I was helped by someone. Though it took 5 years for me to get here, that's easier than what it takes most people to get here, right? And then I have a stable life. You know, I'm not on the streets. I have a car. I have a place to sleep. I'm running a business. And the realization that all of these things does not make too much meaning for me made me want to escape into boredom, into just binge watching movies and eating food and just not doing anything, into isolation. But then when I'm in that state, I don't want to commit suicide or I don't want to kill myself. But I get this feeling of, what is my life worth? I mean, it would be okay if I was dead. when I'm in that state. When that behavioral pattern of just escaping away. Like, I wouldn't kill myself because I just don't want to do it. There are people around me that would be devastated if that were to happen. But it would be okay if by natural causes I slept and never woke up. And that kind of feeling scares me to death. Because I'm still young. I'm still 25. Average lifespan is around 75 or 80. And I'm barely in the first quarter of my life. And then for the rest of the quarters, what am I going to do? What am I going to be? What am I going to achieve? And that thought makes me want to contribute to other people. Because I know that for a lot of men, the idea of not being enough, not feeling enough, not having a peace of mind, not knowing what to do, not knowing how to behave, not knowing the direction or the life meaning is the hinge-pin, is one of the reasons they're depressed so much. And also on the flip side, too much of the stress, having to grow up, having to handle responsibilities, having to provide for your family, having to see other people, having to do something. That peace of mind is so hard for most men to attain because they think sometimes that their life is a burden. Their life is just full of people just needing something from them, people just asking them for things. And that idea of not feeling enough, not doing enough, sometimes makes them want to just check out. And I understand that because I'm a man myself, and I have those feelings myself, and I know what it's like to be depressed and anxious, and just the demand to be an adult, the pressures of trying to make something out of yourself can be excruciatingly hard. That when you don't have that guidance, when you don't have that mentorship, it's easy for you to just fall prey to bad behaviors and addictions that will make you forget about the responsibilities and the obligations that are waiting for you right after you get sober. And then you want to constantly stay in that state of inebriation just to escape your life. Whether it's alcohol, whether it's drugs, whether it's pornography, whether it's just internet or just drifting, it feels like you don't know where you're going. But you don't want to be where you're at. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Between somewhere where you know you want to grow up. You know you want to do good. But something in your head just keeps telling you, there's a voice in your head that keeps telling you that you cannot do good. You cannot be better because of where you grew up. Because of the things that happened to you. Because of your experiences. And for the most part, you believe this voice because there are evidences in your life that have told you, or that have exemplified to you or signified to you that these things are how much you can accumulate to. That you are worth this. And part of the things that gets me out of this mindset is to think about the unique strengths that I have. The things that make me unique. Because it's easy to stay in that victimization state. It's a hard work to be a man today. But it doesn't have to be hard when you can find an empowerment perspective that you can hold on to. And when you hold on to that empowerment perspective, you can then look for activities to then facilitate and make your life worth something. For example, my name is Vincent. That's my first name. And when I was doing this exercise of getting out of that victimization zone, I think, wow, my name is Vincent. What does Vincent mean? A conqueror. I literally got goosebumps when I realized that. It was like, it's right in my name. I'm a conqueror. Instead of thinking, why me? I can think, why not me? I'm built for this. Now, I might not have the emotional maturity at that time to be able to handle these difficulties, but I'm built to conquer. And if I can apply myself enough, I can conquer. My middle name is Izuchukwu, which means, that's my native name. It translates in English, God's plan. So I got my first name, Conqueror. I got my middle name, God's plan. So God's plan for me is to conquer. Now ask yourself, what's your name? What does your name mean to you? And if there is nothing empowering in your name, which I'm certain there is something empowering in your name, there's something empowering in your lineage. There's something empowering from where you come from. I come from Nigeria, right? And the people that come from Nigeria, usually to the United States, are successful people. People who end up with something when they come from nothing. And I got that ancestors of that backing of people who already conquered, singing for me from behind, cheering me up, even when I fall down, even when I feel like I have no reason to keep going. How about my people? I come from an Igbo people, native people who are known for their intelligence, their wisdom. The more I engage with myself, the more I find reasons to persevere instead of to quit. There are other reasons where I feel insufficient. You know, walking up to a girl, you know, asking, you know, or feeling embarrassed about myself. These things, or feeling insufficient, that I'm not cool enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not fit enough, you know, I don't know where I'm going. But these things are the things that I can use what's great about me to overcome. And when one of the things that I noticed when I start thinking about the existential crisis is the stability of life, the average life. Having the basic things you need, and then having to stress about not having so much of what you see what others have. Boredom. Boredom is the greatest enemy that we have. When you don't have anything to do, that's when you should be scared. Because it's often said that the devil tempts all men, but idle men tempts the devil. It's a lesson in knowing that you are meant to move, you are meant to go somewhere. But knowing this is the first step. Knowing that you're supposed to move, knowing you're supposed to find something to make of yourself is the first step. The second step is then finding the direction. And that direction can be found in reading a book. That direction can be found in going to school. Although I know, yes, the indoctrination and all those things, you can still filter through that noise. You can go to school. You can go to a church. You can start an organization. If you don't know what you are meant to do, then finding out what you're meant to do should be the goal, or the current goal, right? And that starts you on that journey of thinking about yourself, thinking about your life, thinking about the things you're supposed to accomplish. And it can be a trap that I sometimes fall for, in terms of the way I feel about myself, that when you find out what's great about you and you're not living up to that, you tend to feel depressed. When you become aware, you become self-aware, you tend to feel depressed or anxious or thinking that you are supposed to do something, but you're not capable of doing it. Because life is a balancing beam between expectations and curiosity. The expectations of, yes, you're supposed to be a good citizen as a bare minimum. Don't steal, don't rape, or don't go over the speed limit, or all these laws that are just basic, decent things, that people do just as a stable human being. But then the expectations of what is supposed to mean to be successful, what is supposed to mean to be great, should be individualized. It should tilt towards the same purpose, but it should be individualized. There's a reason some people are soccer players, some people are football players, some people are teachers, some people are doctors, some people are psychologists, some people are bus drivers. These are different ways you can become great in any line of work. When you apply yourself and understand that the things you're doing gives you meaning and purpose, then that's all fine and good. Don't let the expectations of other people lead you to feel depressed about something that is not, that you shouldn't be depressed about, or you shouldn't feel down about. Because other people's expectations of you are not the things that you can control. But the expectations you have of yourself determines whether you're going to be happy, or whether you're going to be sad, or whether you're going to be demotivated, or whether you're going to be successful. It's all in the feeling you give, the meaning you give to things. And speaking of happiness, people often mistake pleasure for happiness. People think that if they engage in pleasurable activity, then that should lead to sustained happiness. No wonder we have an epidemic of addictions, of people trying to find happiness in pleasure. Happiness doesn't come from pleasure. Happiness comes from victory. And victory requires a certain form of pain. You don't go to the gym and when you're running, you're putting yourself through the paces, you're trying to accomplish something. From that pain comes the happiness of you having challenged yourself. But when you get pleasure from maybe shooting up drugs or watching internet porn, later you feel the guilt. And that guilt might then become a cycle of you feel guilty about feeling guilty. And now you are caught in a pattern of downward spiral, or trying to figure out why you feel guilty about the things you're not supposed to do, and why you can't stop doing it. Looking for happiness in the wrong places is the chief reason of depression, of anxiety, of trying to escape. So it's looking for happiness in pain, in challenges, in difficulties. That's where the real happiness is looking for those things that you can find to make yourself great. You can find to make yourself sustainable in a way that would make you feel proud of yourself, make you feel like you belong. You can stand tall and shoulder when other people stand. And that comes from applying yourself. Happiness that is not earned, they often have a foreboding feeling of, I didn't earn this. This is not mine. Like you wouldn't feel connected to it. It's like you were given an NBA trophy right now without having played a single NBA game. Other people might be cheering you up because they didn't know you didn't play. But you will feel within yourself that you didn't earn it. There's a certain amount of inner meter, always searching, making sure that we're keeping honest, an inner conscience to let us know when we are doing something that is misaligned with our identity, whether for good or for bad. And when something's are not earned, it goes down. It drags us down and say, hey, you didn't earn this. You shouldn't feel happy or excited about it. And that comes, and then the feeling of the hopelessness, the lack of self-worth, the lack of self-esteem starts to creep in, because you are having a pleasure that is not earned. You're having something you never earned. And that's why the temporary happiness, not just happiness, the pleasure that comes from drinking away your sorrows or escaping by watching porn or doing something else, it doesn't last. Because pleasure is not happiness. Pleasure sometimes is pain. Challenge, pain that comes from applying yourself, that's where the happiness is. Because when you do something that is worth suffering for, then you have earned the right to feel worthy, to feel like your life matters, to feel like you can contribute. Even when you are stressed, when you're doing something you know in your heart of hearts is for the greater good, you feel good in the end. My father often said, if you're feeling bored, go cut the grass, you feel good. And that's true. A simple action of just walking out in the gym makes you feel good. Why? Because you've challenged your muscles to expand. You've challenged yourself to restore. And that leads you to feeling something that then makes you feel worthy of yourself. And that's the thing that I like about what I do. When I move people to tears by clarifying for them their mental inconsistencies and incongruencies, I feel like I've contributed to them. They thank me. They send me gifts. They tell me, hey, thank you for taking the time to help me, I'm trying to think of the word, analyze myself, analyze my thinking, and file out the ways that I've been inconsistent, and to see how I can become something great and make something good of myself. And that's all I'm all about. It's all about the greatness. It's all about doing something good for the greater good. And I want to leave this in closing. Don't let the world turn you into a savage. Let it turn you into a hero. Don't let your experiences, don't let the things you go through make you want to revenge, an eye for an eye. And while that might be satisfactory, it leaves the whole world blind. Rather, let it turn you into a hero. Don't say, because I was hurt, so I'm going to hurt back. Let it be, because I was hurt, so I won't let someone else experience the hurt that I've been through. And that's the dichotomy between the hero and the villain. Batman went through pain and turned it into helping other people not go through the same thing he went through. The Joker went through pain and used that as an excuse to make others feel the pain that he feels. Your upbringing doesn't have to define your destination in life. You can change, because when two alcoholic boys grew up in the same alcoholic household, one became a teetotaler, the other went to jail. One became a model citizen, the other became an alcoholic. And it was interesting when they were questioned as to the reason their life turned out the way it did, and their answers were as identical as their genetics. What would you have done if you had an alcoholic father? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that a wow, like how people can make different decisions depending on what they decide to do from the experiences they've been through. I've went through pain, I've went through hurts, I've went through disappointment, I've went through rejections, I've went through failure, and I'm probably going to go through a lot more. But I want that to turn me into someone who wants to help others not go through the same things that I'm going through, or who want to help others calibrate their thinking in order for them to not give the wrong meaning to an experience or to a situation. And then from my example of helping them, they can then help out other people. It becomes a ripple effect. That's my goal. And I want to be there for as many people as I can. And I hope this life finds you well. I hope you find out a lot of value out of it. And as always, thanks for watching. And before I go, I want 2 books. 7 Strategies to Wealth and Happiness, and this book, Tiny Habits, are the ones that I'm reading currently, and I think both of them are a good winner. You can get a copy, Amazon, eBay, wherever, and start building your environment to start creating the identity that would help you to calibrate your thinking and turn your hurts into victory, and by your example help other people to do the same. Thanks for watching. Be great and follow for more to stay inspired.